You see here we're logged into the KMS console within AWS, and this thing you notice over here on the left is that there's basically three options that we have here. An AWS managed key is created for each of the services where KMS enabled encryption is provided. And so you see here just working through some things. We have one for S3 and we have one for EBS. These are AWS managed keys. That means that if you try to look at them, you don't really get a lot to look at, right? You get a read-only version of what the policy actually says, and then you also get to look at the cryptographic configuration. These are managed by AWS, and we don't get to define things like we don't get to extend the policy. We don't get to change any of the key rotation parameters or anything like that. And so, but they are presented to you here because they are key KMS keys that are unique to your account. Now, under customer managed keys, you can see here the customer master keys that we've actually defined, and I used this key in some of the other videos that we've done in this series. And if we look at this, you see we get quite a bit more to work with. We actually get to edit our policy, and we get to define different decisions, deny or allow decisions based on different criteria. We also, again, we get to see the same cryptographic configuration. These parameters are not changeable after you initially set up a key. We get to define some tags so that we can categorize and organize our keys. We get to enable or disable key rotation. We'll talk about this here actually in just a second, but there it is. And we also get to define some aliases. So we could create a my awesome key. If only I could type and spell at the same time. And so we get to create our own aliases as well. That is a helpful feature if the annual key rotation does not work in your situation and you need to rotate your keys on something different than that. Then you could use your applications could call the key by the alias, and you just create new keys using the same alias, and that would achieve the same effect, right? And so a customer master key, a CMK, is the more powerful option. And then finally, the last option that we have here is that we can get our key stores from a cloud HSM service that we might be using. And so those are our options there. Now, one of the important things to keep in mind when we're talking about these keys is that these keys within KMS are used to protect the data key that is actually used to encrypt the content. So for instance, with every file that is written to S3, a unique data key is used to encrypt that file when it is submitted to S3. And that data key is then encrypted by these KMS keys. Which provides an important distinction. We can, or an important capability. We can actually use access to or deny access to, right? KMS keys as a form of access control, so that even though the user might be able to see the file, they might not be able to download the unencrypted version of it. That is an important capability as you think about your encryption strategies. Another use case for KMS keys is in both RDS and EBS. So your relational database as well as your elastic block storage. So in those cases, RDS is really just backed up by an EBS volume whenever you create an RDS instance. And you can use a KMS key to encrypt both EBS volumes as well as RDS data stores. And in that case, you are encrypting the volume key that is actually used by EBS to actually encrypt and decrypt the data itself. So again, KMS keys in all the use cases protect the encryption key that is actually used to encrypt the data.